In 2 months, a block of ice the size of Philadelphia completely vanished from the face of the Earth. This was not a slow, gradual melt. It was a sudden collapse. In late 2022, Antarctica's Hektoria Glacier, a massive river of ice that had existed for thousands of years, retreated by nearly 10 miles. It lost half its mass in just 60 days. Scientists who study these frozen landscapes were stunned. They had never seen anything move this fast. To understand why this event is so terrifying, it helps to know what was happening beneath the surface. Hektoria wasn't sitting on solid rock. It was resting on a flat, smooth underwater plain like a tabletop far below sea level. For years, it had been protected by a thick shield of sea ice attached to the coast. That ice acted like a brace, holding the glacier in place. But in 2022, that protective shield broke up. Storms and warm water shattered it. Suddenly, the glacier was exposed to the open ocean. Warm water began to eat away at the ice from underneath, a process called basal melting. The glacier thinned, and once it was thin enough, it lost its grip on the flat bedrock and started to float. Fast ice is different from the sea ice that drifts with the currents. It is sea ice that forms along the coast and stays attached to it like a frozen ledge. For years, Hektoria Glacier leaned against this ledge. The fast ice acted like a brace, holding the glacier in place against the push of the ocean. But in 2022, warm water and powerful storms shattered that brace. Once the fast ice broke up, nothing held the glacier back. Waves crashed directly against the ice front. Without that frozen shield, the glacier became wide open to attack from the sea. Has a glacier ever collapsed this fast before? Once parts of Hektoria began to float, the process sped up like a line of dominoes falling backward. As one section broke off, the section behind it became unstable and broke off too. This created enormous icebergs, some so large that their breaking caused what scientists call glacier earthquakes. Seismic sensors picked up the vibrations from miles away. The glacier was retreating at a rate of nearly 1 kilometer per day. To put that in perspective, most glaciers move backward by only a few hundred feet in an entire year. Hektoria was doing that in a matter of hours. When lead researcher Naomi Ochwat flew over the area in 2024, she was shocked by the emptiness, where ancient ice once stood. This glacier is relatively small. Its collapse won't raise global sea levels by much on its own. So why do scientists call this terrifying? Because Hektoria acted as a warning signal. It showed that glaciers can collapse in sudden, dramatic jumps rather than slow, steady melts. This was something researchers had only seen in computer models before. Now, they have seen it in real life. The big concern is that much larger glaciers, like the famous Thwaites Glacier in West Antarctica, sit on similar flat beds of rock. If Thwaites were to collapse in the same way, the consequences would be global. Thwaites is often called the Doomsday Glacier for a reason. It is enormous, about the size of Florida. If it were to destabilize, it could unleash enough ice to raise sea levels by over 10 feet. But the danger doesn't stop there. Thwaites acts like a cork, holding back the massive West Antarctic ice sheet behind it. If that cork pops, the ice sheet could drain into the ocean. That ice sheet holds enough water to raise global sea levels by about 200 feet. That would redraw the world's coastlines. Cities like New York, Miami, Shanghai, and London would face catastrophic flooding. The ocean around Antarctica is warming, and this is the main driver of the problem. Warm water eats away at the ice from below. This is what thinned Hektoria until it floated away. Scientists are also discovering new threats. For example, hidden lakes of meltwater beneath glaciers like Thwaites can suddenly drain, flushing warm water under the ice and doubling the melt rate temporarily. It is like a hidden turbocharger for ice loss. Is anyone watching these dangerous glaciers? The simple answer is yes, but it is getting harder. Scientists rely on satellites to track changes from space. This is how they first noticed Hektoria's rapid retreat. Using images taken at different times, they could see that 5 miles of ice disappeared in just 2 months. If they had only looked every few months, they might have missed the speed of it entirely. But satellites can't do everything. To really understand what is happening, researchers need to get onto the ice and into the waters around it. This is where a serious problem has developed. The United States has operated a powerful research icebreaker ship named the Nathaniel B. Palmer for 30 years. It was one of the only ships in the world that could smash through thick sea ice to reach places like Thwaites Glacier. It mapped the seafloor, measured ocean currents, and carried helicopters and scientists to the most remote spots on Earth. However, due to recent budget cuts, this ship will soon stop operating. The funding for polar science has been slashed, and there is no replacement ready. It could take 10 years or more to build a new one. This leaves a massive gap in our ability to monitor these crumbling glaciers at the exact moment they are changing the fastest. Could this affect where people live? The loss of a glacier in Antarctica might feel very far away, but the ocean connects us all. The water that melts off these glaciers flows into every sea. For people living on coastlines, this means higher high tides, stronger storm surges, and salt water creeping into drinking water and farmland. It is not a problem for the distant future. The changes are happening now, and they could speed up suddenly, just like Hektoria did. Ancient ice cores and sediment records show that the West Antarctic ice sheet has collapsed before in Earth's history. During warm periods in the past, when ocean temperatures were only slightly warmer than today, that ice disappeared. Scientists warn that we may have already crossed that temperature threshold. If we have, then the ice is already committed to melting. It might just take time for the ocean to finish the job. The story of Hektoria Glacier is a wake-up call. It proved that ice can disappear far faster than anyone thought possible. It showed that flat bedrock is a danger zone. It revealed that glacier earthquakes can shatter ice in an instant. And it raised a terrifying question. If a small glacier can lose half itself in 2 months, what will happen when a giant one decides to do the same? Scientists are now racing to map the hidden landscapes beneath all Antarctic glaciers to find the next weak spot. The future of the world's coastlines may depend on what they find beneath the ice. The ice doesn't care about our budgets or our timelines. It is just going to keep melting. And the more we learn about how fast it can really happen, the more urgent it becomes to pay attention. Here is where this hits home. Think about a city like Miami. On sunny days right now, water sometimes bubbles up through the drains in the streets. It is called sunny day flooding. The sea is already high enough that it just pushes up through the ground. Now imagine that same water creeping into the streets of Boston, New York, or London. Imagine storms coming in on top of water that is already 3 feet higher than it was when your grandparents were Yantarkat's Tetica's Hektoria Glacier just lost half of itself in 2 months. Here's why terrifying. That storm surge does not just flood the beach. It floods neighborhoods miles inland. People lose homes. Fresh water turns salty. Farms can no longer grow food. This is not something happening to polar bears in a faraway place. This is happening to people. A child born today in a coastal city might watch their school relocate inland before they graduate. They might never know the coastline their parents knew. The collapse of Hektoria is a warning that those changes could come faster than anyone planned for. The ocean does not wait. It just rises. If this video made you think differently about what is happening in the world, hit that like button. It really helps more people find these stories. Subscribe if you want to stay updated on what scientists discover next about our changing planet. And share this with someone, because the more people understand what is happening down there, the harder it is to ignore. Thanks for watching.